Doing a little color grading over here, which I know about fucking corrector nodes. I wish I could put some corrector nodes on some people, you know? Fucking change their temperature a little bit. Anyway, there's a dilemma, right? That nobody wants to admit out loud. When the FCC is stepping in over comments that are made on shows like Jimmy Kimmel, a lot of people said, good. There has to be standards. You just can't have anybody just say anything over public airwaves. And that argument, like, it makes sense if you believe that the government should act as a referee. But here's the problem: the same referee doesn't just call fouls on people you disagree with. If the FCC steps in on a late night talk show host for crossing the line, then what happens when the same authority is used to prevent political opponents from appearing on like entertainment platforms like Stephen Colbert's? It's not about decency. It's not about access. It's about power, and that's where the dilemma lives. Because once you justify, interference when it favors your side, then you've also justified it when it doesn't. Free expression, like it feels messy, and regulation feels responsible until regulation shifts direction, and then suddenly it feels like control. The real question isn't whether you like Kimmel or whether you agree with Colbert. It's this. Do you want the government to decide um, what political voices are allowed on these platforms? I mean, or do you want them to step in when it benefits you? Consistency is hard, especially when your team is winning. But principles only matter like when it costs you something. So remember that shit.